Hey, I'm your host, Dr. Desiree Cassell. I'm an orthopedic and pelvic floor physical therapist specializing in women's health, aka pelvic floor. I'm a wife, mom of 3, foodie, lover of all things movement and nature, and I'm super passionate about educating, empowering, and supporting other women like you to find and maintain balance throughout all aspects of their lives, without pain, pressure, or peeing their pants. And this is the Balanced Momtality Podcast, where we will talk about all things pelvic floor, your core, and optimizing your pregnancy, birth, and postpartum recovery, providing you with the knowledge and tools so that you can feel like the strong, playful, and happy mom that you and your family deserve. Now let's get you out of those pads and back to loving movement. Fill up your water, pop in those AirPods, roll out your mat, and let's connect. Before we start today's episode, just a quick disclaimer that anything mentioned in this podcast is not meant to treat or diagnose any medical conditions. If you have any questions or concerns about your healthcare needs, please seek the care of your medical provider. This is also a safe space where we will be talking about very sensitive but important topics, such as issues with peeing and pooping, relationships, and even sex. So if you have littles around, probably a good idea to pop those AirPods in. But otherwise, I hope you enjoy today's episode. Hey friend, so happy you are joining me today. This is going to be a fun and hopefully I can keep it kind of short episode. Last week's episode, or our last episode, ended up being kind of lengthy. I end up getting on tangents and just like to chat and blab to you guys about mindset shifts apparently, because last time we talked about those mindset shifts and how important it is to really get your mindset in alignment with the actions and the goals that you want to take, and how we can really start to take action, really diving into why you're not doing the things you know you need to do. So go check out that episode. It really is the nitty-gritty that we don't think about, right? Because we all think like, oh, I just don't know this or that. But most of us do know a lot of general health and wellness principles, and we still don't take action on them. So that episode is to help you dive in a little bit more introspectively to really understand your barriers, your boundaries, your why, And this episode is going to build off of that because we are talking about falling into fitness. So now that we have kind of tackled that internal dialogue, maybe how we're viewing ourselves or our expectations for ourselves, and just getting our mindset in the places we want to be so that we can be successful, now we're going to take that and go into action mode. So I have done an episode in the last probably few months about getting back into exercise and things like that. And this will have some overlap, but it's also from a different lens. This is really looking at just gently getting into that action, right? Not just diving in head first, because, it really is difficult when we start something new to make it something that's sustainable. And so that's what this episode is about. I want this to be a sustainable change for you because as the leaves change, so can our approach to movement. And unfortunately, a lot of times it changes in the wrong direction. We become more sedentary this time of year. It's getting colder. We're getting busy. We're not necessarily as active as we normally are. And some of you might be. That's awesome. But some of you might not, right? Many women either dive all in or completely stall out when it comes to fitness. And this episode is about finding the middle ground. We as moms, busy women, we are struggling with symptoms and burnout. We are dealing with so much, and it can be a lot to feel like, how am I even going to squeeze time in for myself? But hopefully after last episode, you already have shifted that mindset a little bit because it's not about having enough time. It's about prioritizing your time. You do have the time. It's just, why haven't you been prioritizing it, right? But as we're getting into this falling into fitness, I want you to just take a step back and first make sure your mental state and your why is really in the forefront of your brain. Hopefully your why is a value-based goal, something that makes you feel good, right? Whether it's being able to play with your kids, being able to go on the trampoline with your kids. Maybe it's being able to keep up with them as they're running around. Maybe it's just that you want to feel strong and comfortable as you navigate exercise. We don't really want to make it about pounds and, these aesthetic goals because, we all want to have that aesthetic pleasing, goal body. Everyone has a different goal body also. But at the same time, if we keep our minds stuck in the aesthetic piece, this is a big reason why we crumble because we're really looking at it from the wrong thing. We need to also value all the other benefits that moving is doing for our body. That helps us show up a little bit more consistently. Because fitness isn't just about punishing your body. It's about supporting energy and creating resilience and capacity in your body so that the day that you don't sleep well or the day you don't eat great, you still feel okay. You still have energy. You can still do the things. You're not getting tipped over into an autoimmune flare or pain flare or having zero energy to do anything, right? We need that resiliency in our body just to show up and feel good. But a lot of women can fall into these traps, and not even women, right? Just people, humans in general, when they make that decision. All right, I'm going to work out. I've got my mindset in a good place. I'm ready to do the dang thing, right? We're not just waiting for motivation. We're trying to just stay consistent and dedicated. And it's not always going to look perfect, but we always tend to set these goals. And when we don't meet them, it becomes a trap where we just end up falling off and giving up. But a lot of the reason we fall off and give up is because we're doing too much too soon. This can cause symptom flares, especially if you're postpartum. But even if you've just been, maybe you're 10 years postpartum or you've never had a kid and you've just been laying around or life's been crazy and you haven't really been able to make time to exercise. And if you do just jump in too hard to what you were maybe doing before pregnancy or before you took that break, we can cause a lot of problems. So make sure that you are assessing your body and going over the body boundaries. If you don't know, I have a whole podcast episode on the body boundaries, and also inside my Restore program. It's a 12-week on-demand program. I really guide you through that step-by-step process to understand what your body is telling you so that you can identify within yourself if something is a good exercise and at a good level for you or not. But make sure that you aren't just jumping into heavy weightlifting and going hard 3 to 5 times a week right off the bat. But we also don't want to do nothing, right? Because when we just sit and do nothing, this is where we lose our confidence. We start to lose a lot of strength and feel weak. We lose energy. And it's just this vicious cycle because when you have no momentum, you don't gain momentum. We have to have some movement there to really kickstart that energy and that motivation and that consistency to get you towards the goals that you want to do. We need to reframe. Fitness is a seasonal rhythm. It has an ebb and flow. It's not all or nothing, right? We're not just hitting the gym 5 times a week for 3 months and then not hitting the gym at all for 3 months. You might have that seasonal ebb and flow, but don't make it so extreme. Seasons change, and I do think that there is a good concept of kind of syncing with the seasons. And fall is a period of change, but at the same time, it's also a period of finishing things. We're ramping things up. Maybe we're taking a lot of action right now. We're closing things down, getting things ready for the hibernation of winter where we do calm things down a little bit. And that is okay. But don't fall into the trap of just doing nothing and getting caught up in all of the extracurricular activities and all of the holidays and sweets and just becoming a bum on the couch. So here are my core principles for how to fall into fitness in a healthy and optimal way. We're first going to start with awareness, okay? This is the thing to start with, and it seems so basic and simple, and guess what? It is, but you still have to do it. It is so foundational. If you don't do this step, when you go and hit the gym and do these bigger movers, your body isn't going to move the way we want. You're not connected. You're not getting the right motor plans, the patterns that those muscles should be engaging in. So first, just start with that awareness, and especially with something I like to call a body check. This body check is something that we are scanning. I also have an episode on it, but we're scanning your breath. We're scanning your posture. We're scanning tension. We're trying to become aware of how you hold your body throughout the day. This helps rewire the brain. This helps rewire the breath. This helps rewire your posture, right? It's not just as simple as strengthening postural muscles. If you're not thinking of engaging those postural muscles throughout the day and actually turning them on when we want them to, they're kind of pointless. And same thing with breath work. Even if you're taking the time to do breath work every day, if you're not checking in throughout the day and making sure that you're catching yourself when you're shallow breathing, you could be shallow breathing all day, and then I'm not going to lie, that breathwork session in the evening isn't going to do that much. Yes, in the moment, it's going to calm your system. Anything is better than nothing, don't get me wrong. But I would almost prefer you to start with the check-ins throughout the day than that 15-minute breathwork session in the evening. Have an alarm set every 30 minutes to just scan your body, pull yourself tall, shake out any tension, and reset with 3 deep breaths. And then once we've become aware of how we're holding and breathing or moving our body, we're then going to build from the core out. And this is where my philosophy is. I really start at the pelvic floor and core space. We're really trying to get that deep core pressure management and motor control between that diaphragm and pelvic floor space. We need that foundation for all other movements. So we're really, again, timing. Inhale, expand and relax pelvic floor, and exhale, especially during exertion. We want to engage and Kegel for that support, but avoid breath holding. Please make sure you're not like, when you go to lift things, and just make sure you're thinking of that breath through every movement. This is how every move becomes a core and pelvic floor workout. We're thinking of our brace, we're thinking of our breath, and we're really connecting this core foundation so that the extremities and all of the other parts of your body can move and share equal force without causing joint injuries. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to prioritize recovery as much as the workouts. And this is something I also just did a podcast episode on recently, and how important recovery is. But so go check that out if you want all the details. This is just to say it is important. You really need to think about it just as much as the workouts, because when we're just engaging, we don't actually get that balance, right? Your tone in your body might be tight and elevated. So after a heavy workout, you might go the rest of the day with your breathing shallow, your pelvic floor tight, your back tight. But if we can calm things down with that deep breath work, it helps to reset the nervous system, release the fascia, and give mobility into the joints that we're just engaging a lot. It's really a non-negotiable, you guys. This is where we can prevent that cramping, the tension, the extra soreness, and those walls that start to come up as you jump into exercise too soon. So be proactive and take some deep, relaxing breaths after your workouts, and even better, do it during some mobility and smooth, slow cool down movements. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to gradually progress. We're not progressing perfectly, we're progressing gradually. Add intensity in layers, right? We're trying to slowly progress things. You're not just going to go to the gym and hit 3 sets of 10 on all of your workouts and then the next day progress every single thing. That is a recipe for disaster. And then when you get hurt, you won't necessarily know what did it because you did more weight on everything. So think about it as adding it in layers. Maybe you're starting with walking. Start with a short 10-minute walk, and then maybe you take that 10-minute walk to a little incline, but don't take that 10-minute walk to an incline and make it a 30-minute walk. That's too many factors. You just progressed too many things. Same thing with being in the weight room. If you're starting with a certain amount of weight, first try and hit 3 sets of 10. It's a good general awareness to see where you're at with your strength. And then the next time, if you feel like, yeah, I probably could have done 15, maybe you do 15. But after that, I would encourage that instead of adding 15 reps, you actually just add a little bit more weight and keep it at 3 sets of 10 so that you can keep that intensity up without adding more volume. But just learn to celebrate consistency over max effort. That really is the big take home. It's about showing up, doing a little bit more each time, but not just blowing through all your energy, all your power, all your energy expenditure stored in your body. You're going to end up wiped out and probably pretty sore. The next thing is we're going to anchor that fitness into your daily life. We are so busy, right? We're carrying kids, we're cleaning, we're lifting groceries. These are functional movements that you can make little exercise snacks out of. Make them a workout. How? Well, we engage our brace. We think about our breath when we're carrying those kids. Maybe you even bring the knees up for a little core march. While you're cleaning, every time you're bending over, make it a squat, make it a deadlift. Carrying your groceries, hold it on one side of your body to get a little bit more core work. Make sure you're braced and breathing. Ta-da! Now we're getting little exercise snacks all throughout the day. This is so much better than just going and pounding out an hour twice a week. We can get so much bang for our buck in the movement you're already doing, and it helps tell the body, hey, this is when I need these muscles, bridging that functional gap. We're also going to think about the fitness as a whole, right? So we need a little bit of strength, we need a little bit of power, we need a little bit of cardio. So play around with it, but don't do everything at once. Start small, pick one type of movement to start with, get consistent with that, even if it's just 5 minutes of breath work a day. In fact, that's what I would start with, 5 minutes of breath work a day and build on from there. But here are some of my practical tips this season for how we can just make falling into fitness fun, because that is the goal. We want it to be fun. So I think that if we can create a fall fitness rhythm that works with your family schedule, that is also really helpful, right? So if you've got a bunch of sports in the afternoon, that's probably not the best time to schedule your gym time or your workout time. You're going to be stressed, you're going to be tired, you're going to be rushing, and it's just not going to feel good. Maybe during these seasons, if that's the only time you have, you are thinking about the functional stuff throughout the day, and maybe you get in a little breath work in the evening. But also we can think about those quick at-home workouts, even 10 to 15 minutes squeezed in between these little pockets of time in your day. I bet you're scrolling for longer than 10 to 15 minutes a day. So let's just be intentional and do a quick little 10 to 15 minute workout routine. Just pick 2 to 3 exercises, do 3 sets of 10, boom, call it good. But also I love to think about those favorite, like whatever your fall family activities are. Fall is such a fun time, and we can add so much fun into the movement that we're already doing. I live in the mountains up here in Los Alamos, New Mexico. The leaves are beautiful right now, so hiking is one of my favorite things to get us out and moving. It's also grounding. We get into the earth, and it's just so relaxing. Hiking, park play. When you guys go to the parks, play. This is also how you can move your body. Or you can even use the play structure as a gym. I do that all the time. I'll do squats, step-ups, stairs, push-ups, pull-ups on the park equipment. Get creative. But you also might be raking leaves. Hey, that's a core workout. Engage your core. Exhale as you're pulling and raking. Make sure you're using those core muscles and not just twisting through your back, because that's going to cause back pain. Pumpkin patch walks, orchard walks, right? Like go for fun walks, carry heavy pumpkins, get creative and make it fun. But there are lots of ways to make movement joyful and not just another to-do list. And I encourage you to start getting creative. And remember, your mindset is important. Fitness is self-love and it's not a punishment. Remember, it's not just about getting your body back. It's about getting your energy and confidence back. So this is your permission to slow down, modify, or even rest. You are not lazy, you are just recalibrating. And I want you to take this time. If you need any other support, please come over to the Balanced Momtality Wellness and Support Group. That is a free group for you to come over, ask questions, or come over to the Pelvic Floor Core and More app where there's free master classes and a chat where you can ask questions there. And I have a 12-week on-demand restore program that I am actually giving away a free spot in right now. I'm announcing the winners on 10/10, and if you want to enter to win, take a screenshot of a review of my podcast. So I want you to write me a review for my podcast, help me celebrate hitting 20,000 downloads. Take a screenshot of that review, post it in your Facebook or Instagram stories, and don't forget to tag me at The Balanced Momtality so that I can enter you to win. I am going to be drawing the winner on 10/10, so it's not too late. Remember, this season, let's fall into fitness with grace, not grind. Your body deserves it. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day. I know you've got so many other important things going on, but I hope it was helpful and you leave here with some tools to help you in your healing journey. And I just want to ask you, if you have found this helpful, to please leave a review on iTunes. Scroll down to the bottom of my podcast page and leave that 5-star review so it can help other women see this information. And also, if you want to be a part of my community of amazing women trying to balance all the things, great tips and insight and sharing stories and just motivating each other along the way, feel free to join my Facebook group, The Balanced Momtality Wellness and Support. I hope to see you here next time on the Balanced Momtality Podcast.